Hi, I'm Slavic with iDrinkCoffee.com. Today I'm presenting the Mahlkonig E80 Supreme. The E80 Supreme is a commercial espresso grinder that's designed for high volume applications. It can keep up in even the busiest cafes, and it will provide a quick, consistent, and fluffy grind every time. To present this grinder, I'm going to discuss its features, I'm going to go over some of the burr set options and the hopper options, and then I'm going to pull some drinks, compare the taste, and to give you some feedback on what I think of the espresso. So in front of me I have two E80 grinders, and the first thing that you'll notice is of course the color. On the left here we have the white, and on the right is the black. This is the standard hopper that comes with the machine. Of course, this is a commercial grinder. It's designed for very high volume use. It comes with a large 1.8 kilogram hopper. On the left here, I've shown what it looks like with Mahlkonig's smallest hopper, and this is a 500 gram hopper. If you're using it for smaller applications or for the real coffee enthusiasts that buy something like this for their home. Even with the small hopper, the grinder is 19¼ inches tall, which is probably too high to fit under most cabinets. With the large hopper, the height is 25 inches. The 80 in the E80, of course, stands for the burr size. These grinders have an 80 millimeter burr set. And Mahlkonig is really well known for their burrs. They are really extraordinary quality, they last long, and they perform extraordinarily well. E80 comes standard with a stainless steel machined set of burrs. However, you do have the option of upgrading to what Mahlkonig calls their peak burrs. And those are premium burrs that are 80 millimeters as well in size, but it's actually cast steel. That's similar to what the EK43 has, and of course what the old Mahlkonig Peak had, which is now discontinued. The peak burrs are designed to give incredible uniformity of grind size and also of particle size. They're also harder and they do last longer than the standard burrs, but Mahlkonig says they also bring out greater sweetness in the coffee. They really are quite special. Of the two grinders I have right here, the white one has the standard burr set and the black one does have the peak burr set. So when I try the coffees, I'm actually going to compare them side by side and give you my opinion on what I think of the taste of the coffee. But first, let me explain the features of the E80 Supreme. I'll start here with the portafilter fork. And I really like this design. The way Mahlkonig does it is, when I put my portafilter in, this top part acts like a funnel. So it has like a built-in funnel. It has beautiful distribution, really, really clean. And the grinder is triggered by pressing the button in, and it grinds directly into my portafilter. You can see they're quite sturdy, so I can shake my grinds up if I want to. But it has a beautiful grind quality, very fluffy. It really is quite amazing. Just above the forks we have the chute, and this chute is actually removable, so you can pull that out. It makes cleaning very easy. You can just go up inside there. Of course, you have to turn the grinder off in order to do that. You know, we don't want anyone hurting themselves. And this also goes back quite easily. Just slip that back inside there after you're done cleaning. And here we have the digital display screen, and this is where you're going to be interacting with the grinder most often. And Mahlkonig has really thought out this design quite well, I think. It's easy to use and quite intuitive. Your shots are represented using portafilters. So you have the single spout, that would be for your single shot, your double spout for your double, and your bottomless for your bottomless, if that's what you like. There's actually 6 different options. We can have 6 different recipes programmed in here, and I'll show you that once I get inside the menu and you can see how that works. I'm just going to go back to the double because that's what I'll be using later. In the middle here we have the time display. I have the double shot set to 3.05 seconds for my double. It yields about 18 grams of coffee. I will mention one more thing about the burrs. The cast burrs are just a tiny bit slower than the machine burrs, because on the other grinder, which has the cast burrs, I'm at 2.75 seconds for a similar result. So, I mean, it's small, it's 0.3 of a second, but I do find that they're just a tiny bit slower. Just below the time, we have the temperature, and that's the temperature inside the grinder. And above, we have the setting of the burrs, which is a digital display. I have it set right now at 0.864 millimeters, and that's how far the burrs are apart, and that's represented in microns, or 1/1000th of a millimeter. If we adjust the grind, that changes, and that's a really cool feature because you're kind of not guessing, you know, 7 or 8 or whatever. You have an exact readout of where your grind setting is. The buttons on the left here, the top button is for manual grinding, so if I want to grind a little bit of coffee, I just hold that down and it activates the grinder. I used it for 0.41 seconds. And the bottom button here is if I want to just make adjustments to the dose that I'm on, the time, quickly and easily. You know, here I just basically go up and down whatever I want. That's to make fast adjustments without having to go into the menu. I'm going to leave it, of course, at 3.05 seconds. The knob here on the right is how we change our settings, and you press this twice in succession in order to enter the menu. And the first option is the edit recipes, which is the one that we're going to use most often. And here you'll have, of course, the different doses and you set them up. I have the single spout, double spout, and bottomless active, but there's a couple of other options. I have a cup, a double cup, and then another bottomless. They're set as inactive, but if you wanted to turn them on, you can have as much as 6 recipes. Or if you're the type of a cafe that only serves one type, like a double, you can just reduce it and just have the one setting just to make things more simple. To change the options, we just pick whichever one we want. I'll go to the double. And again, you have the time. You set that time to whatever you like. You can change the icon here. And this is a very cool setting here. This is the disc distance. I mentioned before that the grind setting is displayed on the grinder. And here we can actually program what we want that setting to be. So I have it at 864 microns or 0.864 of a millimeter. But if I change that, for example, I'm going to change it just to 7, and I'll save that. When I'm back at the menu, up here now, the display changes. So it says that I'm at the wrong setting. I should be at 0.764, but I'm at 0.864. And that's kind of neat. If you have different coffees, you can kind of set yourself a reminder so you know what the grind setting needs to be for your particular coffee. I'll just go into the menu to show you the rest of the settings. You can set a password to lock people out of these settings. We have a service option which gives us just some information about the grinder, the hardware version, software version, the serial number. Statistics will show how many cycles it's gone through. That's quite useful, so you know when to change your burrs or to give you an idea of how much coffee you're grinding. And the final option is alerts and notifications. And this is basically a log of the grinder. You know, it basically gives a rundown when the grinder was turned on and off and a history of the grinder. It's kind of like a log. Up here, this is the grind adjustment. I'm not going to change the settings here, but in order to change the grind setting, we move this to the right to go coarser, so higher numbers are coarser, or to the left to go finer. Very, very simple to do. And again, we have the Mahlkonig hopper up here. All Mahlkonig hoppers have kind of sliding doors. If you want to change your coffee or remove the hopper, it's very easy. And the standard bag clip is right here, so you can basically put a bag of coffee underneath there to display what you have inside your hopper. So now I'd like to test these grinders. I'd like to demonstrate them in action. Again, I have the hardened steel burrs in here, the standard burrs, and the peak burrs here. I had to make a slight adjustment. The hardened steel burrs for 18 grams, I'm actually at 2.4 seconds. So this grinder is extraordinarily fast. I'm going to pull 2 shots using my Rocket Boxer 2-group espresso machine. Both groups are set to the same volume. This is as controlled as I can make this experiment, and I'll taste the coffees and give you my opinion. I'll prepare my grind here first. You know, the distribution on the M80 is really fantastic. All the grinds go right into the portafilter. It looks amazing. And on the right, again, you see beautiful grind goes right to the center of the portafilter. Really quite awesome. Now I'm going to split the shot. I'm going to use 2 cups on each side and begin my extraction. So there's about a 2-second difference in the extraction. The one on the left was 29 seconds, one on the right is 27. Just mix that up a little bit and give it a try. Now, this is the same coffee, of course, in both grinders from the same batch, same roast date. It's all the same. Just going to take a sip of water in between. Now the coffees are the same, but On the cast burrs, I do taste just slightly more complexity, and it is a sweeter taste. Actually, it's more significant than I thought it would be, because again, the grinder is the same. I didn't think the difference is going to be that substantial, but it does have a sweeter profile. That's for sure. Yeah, the difference is substantial. So if you're in a position to, I do like the taste of the cast burrs more. The name Mahlkonig literally translates into grinder king, or the king of grinders. And the E80 is Mahlkonig's top of the line espresso offering. This really is the king. In my opinion, this is one of the best grinders, if not the best grinder in the world today. It produces an incredibly fluffy grind, it has fantastic distribution, it's great for high volume, and the taste is incomparable. I really do love this grinder. If you have any questions about the E80 Supreme or any one of our products, please feel free to reach out to idrinkcoffee.com. We're here and happy to help. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this about coffee grinders, espresso machines, coffee machines, and everything to do with coffee. Thanks for watching and have a great day.